So this week on the Burns Redo, we're reviewing Tron. This was Heather's pick for this week. And it's a film that I watched as a child quite a lot, but haven't watched until fairly recently. I think I rediscovered this film last year. And it of course follows Jeff Bridges, who plays Flynn, who is trapped in a computer, almost like a computer game. Now, this was made in the 80s, and it has to be said that it does feature revolutionary special effects. For the time, they were absolutely revolutionary, and to be honest, I think they hold up now in the sense that they are just cheesy enough to be enjoyable. Like some films from this era you watch today, and the effects don't hold up and they do detract from the film, but I think in the case of Tron, the effects, if anything, the cheesiness of them, by today's standards, only adds to the overall enjoyment of the film. And to be honest, what I found most interesting about this film, and it was ahead of its time, and it was revolutionary in terms of its special effects, but the actual film itself, the narrative, and also the action and the way it's all done feels like a classic, like, swashbuckling kind of movie, a classic adventure story that just so happens to take place in a sci-fi setting inside a computer game. And it's for that reason that I really enjoy this movie, but that's not to say it's flawless, because it isn't. I don't think it's a perfect film, and I'm not really sure it deserves the kind of classic status it's given. You know, I think people make allowances for this film over its special effects, and to be honest, I think that some of the characterizations are a bit shallow, and you know, I do feel like the film, even though it's only 90 minutes, it felt like it dragged a bit for me. And to be honest, I don't think it's a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I haven't seen Tron Legacy, but I can tell you right now, from looking at the trailer for Tron Legacy, that I will prefer the first Tron, because I always find that films that rely too heavily on special effects, they really aren't my cup of tea. And the reason I can get through Tron and enjoy it is the fact, like I said, it's like a classic swashbuckling action movie with all these modern sci-fi tropes, and I do think it works really well. Now, you've got a great cast in this. Jeff Bridges obviously plays Flynn, the main character, and you've also got Bruce Boxleitner. I have to say that I love Jeff Bridges in whatever he's in. I think he's a really good actor. And he brings a certain weight to the film, because it was interesting to see an actor of such quality sign on to do a film like this that could have so easily been a failure. And I think seeing Jeff Bridges take risks in his career, especially with Tron, is quite interesting looking back now. So the film itself is really good. I do enjoy it. The effects have dated, but still hold up in the sense that they don't detract from the film. If anything, the cheesiness of them just makes me love it all the more. The performances are good, and I enjoy the narrative, although I do feel the script is somewhat lacking in characterisation. It does seem a bit shallow, if you will. The actual tone of the movie, like I said, it reminds me of like a swashbuckling, old-fashioned action movie, which I love, and that's the reason I really enjoyed Tron. So I would recommend it. I mean, I imagine that if you've seen Tron Legacy and you enjoyed that but haven't seen the original, check out the original, because it is where it all started, and modern movies and modern movie special effects, the CGI and everything would not be where they are today if it wasn't for Tron paving the way back in the 80s. It is a good, enjoyable film, and I do highly recommend it to fans of film, because it is a really important movie. I'm interested to see what everybody else thinks of Tron, but I really enjoyed it, so it comes highly recommended.